let me tell you a little bit about Scott and I's plan for economic development and how I think that links up very nicely with the Great Plains International Trade Association. First of all, we are to modify. There's some modification in our approach to economic development. We feel strongly that we need to diversify our efforts beyond the traditional headhunting efforts, or looking for those home runs, trying to drag those large companies from one state into our state. We're not going to give up on that effort. That still continues to be an important effort, but we also want to do some things that will really help the small businesses that are already here, the existing businesses that are already here, to grow and to expand. We need to coordinate all of the resources available to us, the education resources, the unique strengths we have in agriculture or natural state resources, technology, and our businesses. The focusing more on the small business, being entrepreneurial friendly. This is just about, as I talked to Richard Benda about earlier, it's about finding what people in the state, what companies and businesses in the state need to sell more, to grow larger, to hire more people. We need to determine what that is, and we need to use all the resources available to us to get it done. We also know that nationally, about 2/3 of the new jobs come from startups. Some don't make it, we know that, but the singles add up, to use a baseball metaphor. It's not always about the home runs. There are those singles that we can get in these jewels, in these entrepreneurial jewels that really help South Dakota grow. Obviously, the need to think big outside our local area, not just, we need to export more products, not just outside of our state lines, but across different countries and across the oceans. And that's where international trade must play a bigger role. Needs to continue to play a role in this. That needs to be one of the state's strengths. And I think GPITA will obviously is critical and needs to play a leadership role in that mission. So just a little kind of our knowledge of the port. We know the early years since it was the founding in 1996 were challenging. There's definitely not enough knowledge of the, not enough awareness, I guess, of the port, not enough use. My company, Bell Incorporated, was among the first, and I think probably one of the largest users for a long time, maybe up until, right from the beginning. We were moving about, it was probably around 200 rail cars or so a year of paperboard. And we realized the benefits that it offered, the lower cost, reduced lead times, better efficiencies. You're working with somebody in your community that you know. We can hold each other accountable. It's a very good relationship, very good organization. We're fortunate to see the creation of the Great Plains International Trade Association in 2008 to increase the awareness, to get more use of this resource. It's helped, we believe, a very diverse group of businesses and people, from the mom and pop organizations to the large publicly traded companies. They've realized the reduced costs, the lead times, and the better efficiencies, and that makes business in South Dakota stronger. We're also lucky to have them because of the coordination that has to happen between all of the different entities and players. You have the State Department of Agriculture, you have the GOED, you have local and regional chambers, local and regional economic development organizations, the Customs Service, you have the Federal Department of Commerce has the U.S. Export Assistance Program, the South Dakota International Business Institute. There's probably many others that you're working with as well, Rock. And then you're also working with different industry players across the rail and the air and the truck transportation, and then balancing all of that with some very you want from us is basically how can the next administration help? We have some ideas. We'll take feedback from you. But the key thing that we want to provide is leadership and coordination. We know, and we've heard through groups like this, that parties and businesses don't refuse to meet with the governor. So that's a good thing. You can use that leverage to get the businesses in here, to attract them. We're a friendly state. We're a small enough state to be able to make things like that happen. We have tight relationships, so that's a competitive advantage we have. And we also have the power of the pulpit. So governors make news with what they say. They can share the successes of organizations like this. They can share international trade news, some of the big things that are happening in the area. We want to help. We have leaders that understand core business principles and have extensive business experience. That's, again, why I think Scott wanted to bring me on board to really focus on economic development, to use the office of the Lieutenant Governor to not just break the occasional tie in the Senate, but to work full-time. My job is jobs, creating jobs, working on economic development, talking business person to business person about what people need to expand their businesses in the state or to move their businesses to the state. We want to market the strength and the ease of international trade in South Dakota, and that's really just correctly and strongly positioning our state as a regional leader in this field. So adding to the strength of input costs and labor costs and tax environment, the immediate perception would be we're landlocked, and so it's difficult to have international trade, or it may be a barrier. It's not a barrier here. We've learned that as a company. You've learned that as a company, and we need to continue to tell that to other companies. And we obviously all know that funding is critical to all plans. We have, our economic development plan has to be focused on doing more with less. That's going to have to be the case for whoever has the governor's office, whoever has the governor's seat next year. We have, like many states, some fiscal issues to take care of. So, throwing funding at the problem or having more resources is not always the answer. We need to work smarter with what we have. And then also keeping our word. We know, again, our focus is economic development. We know this is important. We are going to continue to stay focused on this throughout our term. And with that, I think I've probably taken all my time.